Hi guys, and welcome back to Almost a Cinephile. My name is Becca, and if you are new here, then we like to talk about all things movie and physical media. So if that sounds like your jam, then please subscribe below and give this video a thumbs up. Today, because it is spooky season, although I've kind of missed spooky season, but we're still in spooky season, we can still talk about it. When can't we talk about it? For today's video, I thought it'd be really cool to go through movies I actually won't watch. So my horror journey is ever expanding, as you well know. I have dipped my toe into quite a few different horror genres and different movies. Some of my favourites of the recent 5 years have been Hereditary, Midsommar. I love Ari Aster. I've really enjoyed watching Longlegs, which I watched very recently. There will be a small review coming up of that. I really like very psychological, really scary, sometimes paranormal horror. I also have a hard no section about things I just will not ever watch. And most of those things are very much based on the reason for the story and violence for the sake of violence. A lot of these films have a very specific theme and you can kind of get a good idea of why I won't watch them. But for me, the story still needs to be really important in the film. And there's just some things I will not watch. So we will go through my little list of things and films. So we will go through films I will not watch ever. Probably not ever. There's some I'm curious about, but at the moment they are absolute hard no's. So the first film that I am never, ever looking to ever watch in my whole entire life, because I just don't think I could sit through it, is the Terrifier trilogy. No, absolutely no. There's just something about it that there's so much curiosity with the films. I have a lot of curiosity. I just don't think I could sit through it. I really don't. I think the violence is just too much. And so many people have said that number 3 just keeps taking it even further. There's something about these movies that just doesn't make me very settled. I just know the gore would be too much. I've seen people throw up. I've seen people leave the theatres when they go and watch this. I've watched people sitting in the cinema filming their own reactions, not showing any part of the film, and the noises from these movies just absolutely haunts me even now, and I haven't even seen them. I've watched people's reaction videos to it, and obviously a lot of the gore is blurred, and even those reaction videos are too much. I can't do it. It's just a film franchise that I just don't think, as much as I'm curious about it, I would ever be brave enough to sit through. I'm just not a good person with gore for the sake of gore. Really intense, gory films just make me feel disgusting. I just feel sick. I think I watched a film recently called Bone Tomahawk, and I thought it was going to be this Western film, and it turned out to be something completely different. And there is a scene in that film that's very similar to, I believe, Terrifier 1, where they just slice him through the middle, right through the middle. And they don't pan the camera, they don't take it off. You are watching every single second of it. And I think that's what Terrifier does, is it doesn't, there's no point where you are allowed to look away, because it won't let you. It keeps you there in the moment through every chop, through every slice, through every act of violence. It just doesn't let you have a moment to gather your thoughts and not have to look at it the whole time. It just puts you in that scenario where it's painstakingly uncomfortable and horrific to watch, and I'm just not about that. I just don't think I can do it. And I as much as, again, the intrigue, and I know there's a bit of comedy, especially with number 3, there's a lot more to the story and the lore of the Terrifier, and I respect that, and I respect people that love that. I am just too much of a wuss to ever go near those films. Another franchise that has been around for a lot longer is the Saw franchise. I have never watched a Saw film, and I don't think I ever will. again, it comes down to just the body horror of it all, the sake of the gore. And they were such big movies in my teenagehood. So many of my friends were watching them and loved them. And I just didn't want to be a part of that train. It's just not something that makes me interested. It's too much. It's like it's punishment. It's that part of that series is it's just the punishment of a human being, and I am an incredibly sensitive human being, and I just don't want to watch somebody being torn apart in front of my eyes. I feel like that's just something that's just too far for me. I understand that some of these people in the traps kind of deserve it, or they're bad people in general, or they've done bad things in their life. I don't think it would ever warrant that kind of punishment ever. And there's just too many things about it that just make me squeamish and uncomfortable. And I think I could probably watch number 1 because I feel like that one is very iconic, and there's not really any traps per se. It's very much like two guys locked in a room and, you know, they've just got to get out. That's a bit different. I think where Saw Then Went was like way that way. And like I've seen scenes where things have happened just because my friends have had it on in the background. No, absolutely not. I just can't do it. It's just too much for me. It's too gory. It's too body horror. I can't subject myself to that amount of like grossness in my life. I just can't do it. And talking of gross, another series of films I will not be watching because I've watched reaction videos, and even those reaction videos have made me physically unwell, is the Human Centipede series. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. There's a peak of curiosity as to why and who would have ever thought of something as disgusting and gruesome as that to make that into a film. And then I've heard number 2 is even worse. I've not heard much about number 3. No. It actually makes me feel sick. It makes me feel sick knowing that somebody is going around sewing humans together, making a long centipede-like human thing, and people are eating their own excrement or eating that last person's excrement, and just the pain. Like, you can just feel like it makes me want to like close all my you know legs and bits and pieces and stuff, and it's just like, oh no thank you. Like, and it just it just makes me want to gag. No, sorry, I won't ever watch it. I won't ever watch it. It's just something that I don't think I could get through comfortably without having to stop the film. I just can't do it. So you can see like there's a running theme of just extreme violence towards humans and extreme, what is that word? Like extreme, just extreme. Everything is extreme. I can't do the real extreme graphic horror. I love the horror that makes you feel frightened because of the way the movie is, like the pacing, the mood, it's the gore that turns me off of most films. But when it's extreme like the ones I've mentioned, it's just something like, it's a hard no for me. So we're getting on to even more extreme films. I don't know much about these, but I have heard that these are horrific. And the 4th movie on my list is The Martyrs. I believe this is it a French film? It's a foreign film. I know it's not an English film or an American film, but I believe it's about like 2 girls, and it's just an intense situation that I don't want to find myself watching that film. I've heard too many bad things. I don't even remember those bad things because I've pushed those things out. It's just not a film I'm willing to watch. Again, I'm not into extreme violence towards a person in a movie. I respect and understand why people do enjoy that. I don't really know why someone would enjoy that, but it's not for me to decide. I get it if you're curious or you find, that is entertainment for you. And I'm not here to judge anybody about their film taste, but for me personally, that's not enjoyment or entertainment. That is just a no. So Martyrs is a hard no. And the same for my fifth choice, which is the Serbian Film or a Serbian Film. There are things I know about this film that I wish I didn't, and one of them is a scene with a newborn baby or very, very young baby, and somebody actually played the noise that the baby made when this act was happening, and for the life of me I wish I never watched that video. And now it's just a memory and a noise that I will never get out of my head ever. So that noise alone was too terrifying to make me ever want to watch it, ever. And I know enough about that one that I would just never put it on. There's nothing in me that ever would want me to look at something like that. I am a mother. There's just lines I won't cross, especially when it comes to the treatment of children in a movie. Babies more specifically because of how helpless they are. I don't mind children in films, say like It. I've watched It. I've watched, what else have I watched with children in it? There's a few films that make sense to have them in it, as much as it's not like the most pleasant thing in the world. But babies can't do anything to help themselves, and that is just not for me. So that is the reason why a Serbian Film will never be played. I will never watch that film. No, absolutely not. Another subgenre of films that doesn't make me feel awfully comfortable is cannibalism. So again, very extreme violence towards another human being, and eating that is just one layer further in than I'm comfortable with. So there's two films that I feel like are in this genre. There's three films I have in this genre that I'm not ever going to put on, and that's firstly The Hills Have Eyes, original and remake. Just no. I have a big curiosity about the remake. I don't know if I'd ever watch the older film. I just don't like the idea of watching that happen. Ever. There's just a no. You can see, like, I just don't like, there's the biggest theme about this whole list is that no to gore, no to extreme violence. It's just something I cannot do. And cannibalism is that extra step further, because then consuming said person and bits of person that they've then cut away and mutilated, or however they've done it. And The Hills Have Eyes, I've heard things and I don't want to watch it, and I won't watch it. And the next film will be Cannibal Holocaust. This is quite an old film, actually. A lot of people thought this was real or real life, and that to me is more terrifying, because the blurring of whether things were real or not is too uncomfortable. And when a film feels like it could happen in real life, I think that's really, really terrifying. When you think that something like that could be a thing in real life, that's really scary. And it works really well with other films, like it really does. Like there's some films like Get Out I really enjoyed, because it just felt really uncomfortable because of the time we're in at the moment, but it didn't have to be so gruesome and disgusting that it made you just feel sick. So Cannibal Holocaust is an absolute no. I've heard there is some animal violence in there as well, towards real animals, and I understand that they were given to the tribe as food in the end, but I was one of those kids that watched a documentary about animal cruelty and had to step out of the room. It's not something I want to have to see. I'm incredibly sensitive to things like that, and to see a real animal on TV or my screen be slaughtered, just knowing that the sounds and the movements and everything that it was doing at that point are all real, no. Just no, I can't do that. I can't do it. So no, that's another film that I will not be watching, is Cannibal Holocaust. And another film that I will not be watching that's along the same lines, that's part of this subgenre of cannibalism, is Green Inferno by Eli Roth. I'm pretty sure it's Eli Roth. No. Again, same reasons. It's extreme gore, it's extreme violence, and they're eating them. that to me is not fun, and I don't want to sit there and watch that. It just would make me feel very uncomfortable and very sick. I just can't do it. So that's not happening like ever. And one more extremely gory franchise of films is Hostel. I've heard horrific things over the years about Hostel and how scary it is and how gruesome and just so violent that this film is. And I feel like it may be the only one on this list that I could probably dip my toe into and have a look at. I do actually have Hostel. Do I have Hostel? I do have Hostel, and Hostel is also by Eli Roth. And it's just like torture films for the sake of torture, just because they were that person that got caught on that day. I believe it's about like this group of guys that go to a hostel and pick up some girls, but these girls are basically I don't know what you would call them, like they basically pick off people or backpackers or foreigners and then lead them into this really creepy, horrible warehouse that doesn't look great. And I don't know why none of them decided to get out of the car before they went to this disgusting warehouse, but they did. They just carried on. I believe they were looking for one of their friends and they led them to this warehouse where they said that this friend, I'm just literally going by what I have heard about this film, so please don't correct me if I'm wrong, because I know that I might be getting this wrong, because as I said, I haven't watched this because I don't want to watch this. But they lead them to this warehouse and horrible things happen in there, and I don't want to know what happens in there because it's just too much. It's just not great. I don't want to watch it. It's too scary. I don't want to watch somebody being ripped apart by tools and things, and just that extreme torture porn. No, absolutely not. Maybe one day for Hostel, but none of the ones before that. I think I can't make myself watch things like that. It's just not good. And the last series of films is on here purely because it's just not my thing. I just don't find this stuff scary at all. So this is a franchise that I will not be watching purely because I just don't think it will be doing anything for me in terms of scaring me, in terms of doing anything. And it's just something that I just don't understand why it was ever such a big thing. And that's Paranormal Activity. Please don't hate me and come for me with this, but I've seen like clips and I just don't get it. I don't get found footage at all. I don't mind parts of it being in a film or inside a film. I don't like when the whole film is found footage. Like my mum and dad watched Blair Witch Project once and hated it because just the shaking of the camera and everything just made them feel like motion sickness the whole way through. But Paranormal Activity, I've just never got it. I've never got it, and I've never sat there and thought like, oh yeah, I could totally watch like someone's security camera for the next 2 hours and see what happens. It was a massive thing when I was younger, Paranormal Activity. Like loads of my friends used to go to the cinema and watch them, and back then I wasn't a horror fan whatsoever, but now looking at that franchise when I know my tastes, I just don't feel like I would ever be able to sit through a found footage film and enjoy it. I just feel like it's just not my jam in any way, shape or form. I much prefer something with a more engrossing plot or story. Yeah, it's just not for me. I'm not like a ghosty person. I don't feel like I like the Insidious films, but that's because you're following a family and you're watching it from, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm watching a camera in someone's room. You're actually watching the film. Like it's an actual film. I don't know. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but I just feel like it's just not how I see what a real film is. And I feel like I've just lost half my subscribers, but it's just not for me. I know what I'm trying to say. It's just really difficult to get it across, but I just feel like I much prefer something with a stronger story than Paranormal Activity and found footage films. As I said, I don't mind if they're in a film, like there's parts of a film that are found footage, like to move the story along, but I don't like a fully found footage film. It just doesn't work for me. So that is the list of films that I will not to be watching ever, or for at least a very, very long time, until maybe I may be brave enough at one point. I may be eating my own words, but I just don't see myself ever watching those films. They just don't appeal to me whatsoever, and my tastes, and I just find that kind of thing too far for me. So I hope you guys can respect my list. Please let me know any films that you will never ever watch. Please let me know if you've watched these films and how you felt about them. Would you watch them again? Are they your favourites? I kind of feel like that would be really odd, because some of them are very not at all something I would ever thought would be someone's favourites, maybe apart from Saw and Terrifier, but the rest of the list, I mean, maybe I don't want to meet you in a dark alley, that's for sure. And please just have some respect in the comments for what I won't do or watch, and my hard nose. Everybody's very different, I respect that, but these are just things I just won't be putting on my TV screen. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you next time, and thank you so much if you subscribed or liked this video as well. It really does support this channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.